This here is actually gonna be a simple tier list of the characters of One Piece, the live action version on Netflix, specifically season 1 and 2. I highly doubt this is gonna come out during season 3. But yeah, in this video I will be obviously discussing my opinions on the characters, what I like, just also some probably general opinions of the show so far. I have watched the anime, I'm not completely caught up, but I do not intend to really spoil anything. But anyway, character tier list is now going to commence. Alright, so where and how do I feel about most of these guys? Obviously enough, I have not checked in detail whether every single character from season 1 and 2 are here, but from a quick look, it kinda looks like it. The Lord of the Coast is also here, which, you know what, I guess let's begin with him, considering he was the very beginning, and honestly I probably should have added one more. Yeah, this feels like I should add one more.
Later.
B. I guess this is gonna be the tier where I feel like the character, or in this case the creature, fulfilled its purpose. It wasn't anything astounding, but yeah, I think it looked pretty cool. So, yep, there really isn't much to the Lord of the Coast. And just to clarify, I said because I've watched anime, this is specifically my opinions on what I felt during the live action. Which as I have watched, as repeating myself again, because I've watched the anime, I'm certain it has greatly influenced, I mean, just in general, it has influenced my opinions, and I'm certain I would have probably felt maybe differently, considering I also very much so prefer animation to live action. Just in general, I just think it's much more entertaining. So who else do I have absolutely nothing to say about? Now I think this is the list of characters I'm just gonna place here. Yep, that is it. I don't need it's neither positive nor negative, just they existed. I will admit this, considering I highly doubt that the show was, I'm not considering what I'm about to say a spoiler, but yeah, considering I highly doubt we're gonna get to the point to actually meet Bartholomew in the story again, unless they drastically change the One Piece story, and I mean very drastically. I'm just gonna say he's B, because I actually think it was kinda cool to see him. Very obviously his character design looks great. That's one thing in general I'm gonna give to live action. They really are committing to the actual visual aesthetic of the characters, which I absolutely despise whenever live action adaptations try to stay away too far. Stray away? Sure, whatever. Point is, you're adapting something that's supposed to be whimsical, crazy, nonsensical, you might even say. So commit. Why whatever. Just, I want to think about horrible anime adaptations. These are not different characters. This is a different form of Chopper. But whatever. Regardless, who else do we have very little to say about? Let me see. Anyone I truly dislike? Is there gonna be anyone I really didn't like? Just to have someone here. Sure. Another character I really have nothing to say about. You know, I said I needed more tiers, but now that I look at it, I really have quite a few characters I just don't have. I'm really not negative, I just can't care, like even remotely, of if I ever see them again in this story specifically. Anyone else that I feel like that? I'm certain there is honestly quite a few characters, surprisingly. Sure. And to clarify once again, my opinions of these characters are specifically from the One Piece live action adaptation. My opinions on the anime characters might differ. I'm not gonna rank the kid version, I'm just gonna put all of them at the very bottom just because I'm judging their characters in totality, not just their not them in different points of their lives. This is what it is. Now, beginning, Elvira. Elvira, you were fine. Yeah, actually, you know, no, I would even dare say, I liked Elvira. And the way she used her fruit, very simple, very fast. I understand they need to speed through things. Obviously enough, I'm kind of annoyed they didn't actually show her. I think it would have been hilarious if they actually showed us exactly what happened when she ate her devil. Or more accurately, if they showed us the power of her devil fruit. I'm not even sure whether I let that part in, but Don Creek, you are at the bottom of B. You didn't bother me, and honestly, you propped up Mihawk to be cool, so sure. So, Arwong's crew. You know, I said yeah, I said I don't have any more characters, that I don't have anything else to say, but probably them. I mean, their fights were fine, they didn't bother me. I think they look decent. So sure, they're gonna be probably at the very top of C if I see any more of them. Alright, any more fishmen? I think that's it on this tier list. Obviously, we have Arwong himself, which, just like everyone else, I feel like it was a pretty good job. He didn't blow me out of the water, but it was pretty good. Decent first antagonist for this. I guess he's not the first antagonist. For first villain, I love dogs. I do love dogs. So that's the only reason. And I don't need a better reason, because I do love dogs. Anyone else from season 1? You were so important. I mean, just like Don Krieg, you're not really important. Just, I guess, a character to show another character's purpose and character. What character? Oh, Kid Luffy, I almost missed you. You're going at the bottom as well. As I said, I'm not ranking the kid and adult versions separately. I'm going to put this Friday at the very, not top, but second highest tier. And you might be wondering, what did this creature actually do? Sanji just one-shot, basically. Well, the very fact that the live action adaptation actually committed to having them exist in the story, I appreciate. I don't know, One Piece is supposed to be absolutely insane and crazy, and Mr. 13 and Miss Friday just represent how insane One Piece can be sometimes, so I just really appreciate them being there. And hey, did the fight look absolutely incredible between Sanji and Mr. 13? No, but hey, just the very fact it was happening makes me very much so appreciate it. Crocus, I think Crocus was good. No, he didn't blow me out of the water either. I wouldn't say I like him more than Arwong. No, I'd say I just placed him there. But frankly, he really didn't get to do much in season 2. We just got a little bit of lore information about him. We got a certain flashback with a whale, which I would probably place Laboon in the same place as Crocus. After all, they're friends, so they can be next to each other. And honestly, I do think they also did a good job in episode 2 in general, with the flashback. And talking about the flashback, what do I have to say about those characters? I do have quite a few things to say, but because this isn't a spoiler video, I will not say all that much except the fact that I think it was fine. It's one of those things where I wouldn't even say that I placed them this high because I think they were incredible characters in the little that we got of them, but mostly just because probably this might be one of those situations where actually the anime is helping me my appreciation for these characters more than the live action series, especially with this character that's so mysterious, so weird. The musical pirates are there, and yes, I know that's not what they're called, but I'm just gonna place them there. It was cool to see them. I'm certain we'll see more of them in the live action series, or at least one of them. I'm very excited to see how that's gonna look. There's so many things. Maybe I will talk spoilers at the very end. The Island Eater. It's kind of bad to put the Island Eater over so many other characters, but you know what? I just like it. Now, I really would have preferred if the attack Dory and Brody used to actually take it down was a bit more flashy, you might say, but it's fine. I understand that the live action adaptation doesn't have infinite budget. I can appreciate that it was trying. Bogart. Is there any particular reason to place him as high as I am? Yes, I like the Marines. Garp in general is my favorite, well, probably second favorite character. So I have a very strong bias for his allies and friends. Has he done anything insane in the series so far? No. But yeah, I mean, I already explained myself pretty well. Now, Buggy. You know, Buggy is very interesting because I'm curious how they're gonna treat him in the future. very interesting. The way he got basically destroyed by fate, you might say. And this season 2 was fun as well. I think he's fine. I definitely like him more than Ovida. I'm not the biggest Buggy fan in general, but I wouldn't say he did anything horrible. So sure, he's there. I enjoyed him. Another minion didn't do all that much. I guess I can kinda judge the fight of Sanji and Chopper. Season 2. I personally enjoyed Season 2 more, but that's because they kinda started leaning in even more into the absolute crazy aspects of One Piece. So sure, just gonna place him there. The performance and the fight was fun as well, so you can be together. After all, I'd probably like you more than Chess. Yeah, so you're going to be at this tier, because I truly do not have anything to say about you whatsoever. Basically everyone except Shanks, Lucky Rose, him, there's just not enough, at least from the perspective of the live action, for me to say much. Their character designs are fine, it's not anything that bothers me, but I feel completely nothing. From the little we saw of the flashback, he is also fine, and you're kinda seeing probably my general, it was fine. It didn't insult me in any sort of way, even though I'm playing with anime. It didn't blow me out of the water. It was just fine. And I don't mean it in a negative way. There was always some aspects I did really appreciate, which I'll get to. I usually like to go from my least favorite to favorite when I do tier list videos. So I kind of front load things with probably the more negative aspects, even though I didn't mention something I appreciate. Now, who else do I have very little to say about it? If someone whose only live action adaptation only, it's so difficult to be talking about this. Netflix version, you know what? Netflix version is easier. Yeah, if you've only watched the Netflix version, please tell me in the comments. And you know nothing about that. I mean, obviously enough. I mean, I guess you can only watch the Netflix version and know things about the anime. Quina, you were fine once again. I think that's another one that just fine. Obviously enough I understand the importance of her character when it comes to Zoro, but I'm judging her on her own merits. It's Monday? I don't know, I can't speak. This is once again one of those situations. Is my opinions of King Cobra of future events I'm aware of putting him higher? But I'm really trying to judge just this. You know what, you're part of one of the best fights. Probably what many people... I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Zoro against 100 people was probably the best fight in the live action adaptation. So sure, you deserve to be at least a tier higher because you were part of that. I guess I can talk about Mr. 9, which I appreciate him for what he was. And he was an enjoyable little part that he did get more screen time than all these guys, so sure. You're gonna be the new king of tier B tier. There we go. Mr. 7. The one that Zoro absolutely decimated. I guess you're the last one that I genuinely don't have much to say about, except the fact that you're a very important catalyst for many parts in the story. So that alone makes you decently important, I guess. Him and his fight against the Shiggy was fine. Didn't dislike it, didn't love it. Probably liked it more than Miss Monday. Yeah, I would say so. And talking about the Shiggy, I appreciate her introduction into the story, the way I guess it was handled. Her fight, as I said, was fine, and considering I'm judging her only on what I saw so far, she can go, I guess, right under Buggy. That's one of the intriguing things, by the way, when it comes to people that are watching only the Netflix version, how they conceive the power levels of all the characters. And frankly, I'm also wondering, are they just changing how strong certain characters are, which they probably should, if they want to actually adapt as much of the story as possible. Otherwise, it will be very difficult to... I mean, it will be basically impossible to get even near to the power level where things get to eventually. This is Valentine. I actually enjoy your power, to be fair, which is one of the biggest reasons. The way they showed it in the show was also pretty fine. I do believe the actor that plays Buggy just... I enjoyed his performance more. probably. Yeah, even though Miss Valentine got a lot more in this season. Overall, I think Buggy wins this one, and as well as the Shaky, but that one could be because of my marine bias. But Morgan, well, talking about that, there is someone I most definitely don't like. Morgan being one of them, even though I'm very curious what his future is gonna be in the actual story, and I mean, I guess in this one too. As far as I remember, even currently in One Piece, feel free to correct me if you know, but I'm pretty positive Morgan has not shown ever since we saw him last time. Pretty confident. So I know about him as much as the actual people, as the people that are watching the Netflix adaptation. Yeah, sure. But he was fine. He's the first true threat that they kind of faced. Honestly, this isn't a tier list about potential of what incredible things he might do in the future, so just there. Now, who else? Incredible things, future? I don't know. I guess Wapo, talking about incredible things that can be done in the future, is going to be, because I'm truly curious what his fate was. After all, if you've watched enough shows, you do know that if a character mysteriously supposedly falling and it's not seen whether he's alive or dead, you should probably presume he's alive. But I am completely honest here, I don't know whether the life, as I said, they really could be changing things in the Netflix adaptation. He can be dead, he can be alive, it could be something in between, someone else might get his fruit. I truly do not know. And because I am that intrigued, and because I do like his power in general, but that feels unfair to kind of... It feels kind of unfair to place the characters higher because I like their powers or character design, considering that's not something that the adaptation came up with, but they're doing a decent adaptation, so sure. I will place Wapo right above Miss Valentine. The shopkeep that Zoro was haggling. I very much so enjoyed that whole exchange, so I will... I can't believe this, but sure, considering that I'd say he's the next A tier character, which is unbelievable considering some of the characters here, but hey, Agram for the fact that they committed. Yeah, he is above him, even though I like Bartholomew, I like him for the future knowledge I possess. Next, Miss Golden Week. I appreciate her power, but I didn't really enjoy the episode. I mean, I enjoyed the episode, I didn't enjoy the fight she had, I didn't enjoy... I mean, to be fair, I just don't particularly like her in general, so that's that. Which, if I don't like her, doesn't that mean I should place her down? Yeah, it does. Maybe I'm being a little too overly positive. So sure, Miss Golden Week. The incredible character that I'm so glad they committed to his gimmick. Of actually picking his nose and turning his buggers into explosives. That he's going to get all the way to the top of B. It's one of those things, the more you commit to the craziness of One Piece, Netflix adaptation, the more I'm gonna appreciate it. So I'm glad they didn't shy away from what... Mr. 5, right? I'm not misremembering. I just was too afraid to say it, it is Mr. 5 there. Oh, Zeph, right. Yeah, from character design, from the fact that Sanji is one of my personal favorites just in general, I kinda have to place him relatively high. Yeah, I think, no, he's definitely A tier, and I definitely liked him more than Armon. I don't know whether I would place him all the way to S tier, but I think he was great. The performance, the character design that they did for the adaptation, and just his relationship with Sanji. It was a lot of fun to it. So, talking about committing to the craziness, we had a completely insane villain that even in the show it was called out that he basically lost simply due to the fact that he wanted to win with style. And because of that he gets to be, I was gonna say first villain in A tier, but no, Armon is here, but I do like him more than Armon. Mostly because I like the, what is it? Wax fruit? There we go. Here is a character that I'm gonna place little lower than I would want, but I'm unsatisfied with the fact that they didn't show us what we saw with Chopper is the fact that he has multiple forms as a devil fruit user. Very obviously, other devil fruit users have different forms, and Dalton sadly enough showed just his hybrid form. I mean, it's just that. I really would appreciate it to see his other form, but I understand that would have been even more CGI heavy, etc. difficult. So I can't knock the show too much because they do have a limited budget, and as a character himself, what they did in the adaptation was fine. I'm just like I praised it for committing to certain things, the fact that they're omitting certain things I have to deduct some points. So yeah, there's Dalton. Otherwise though, I think he did a decent job. Even though his power wasn't as cool as I would have liked, and even though they kinda skipped over how he was able to escape, and in a live piece? Sure. In the live action adaptation, I'm expecting them to show us more details that they might have been willing to omit. I still enjoyed Dalton. So who did I not enjoy out of the people here? Actually, I think everyone else that's left I probably liked a decent bit. But Sir Crocodile, the final villain, the one that was basically teased, and the only thing he had was a single conversation with Mr. Prince, which was great, and it was happening during one of the best fights in the series, mostly because I enjoyed it most. And when it comes to just solely character design and my future knowledge of how important he is, Sir Crocodile, I guess I can't place him all the way to S because technically he hasn't done much. So sure, you're going to go above Crocus. The actress really is selling her. She really is, so there we go. She is at the very top of S. Not my favorite, but her ability looked cool. Her costumes, well, let's just say I most definitely appreciated them. And I don't want to comment much more because I just appreciated her. There we go. She was a great addition, is the best way to put it. Oh yeah, I guess talking about great additions, Dr. Kura, the oldest person we've seen so far. I guess no, because the Giants, the oldest human we've seen so far in One Piece. From what we saw in the show, she was good, so even though I do want to put her high, I'm just gonna put her at B tier for now. Yeah, I enjoyed her more than Mr. 9. And yeah, her relationship with Chopper, her knowledge, watching it in the flashback was also great. I think just good job overall. There really isn't anything negative I can think of, at least in this moment, I can say about her. There's Shanks, to real quickly cover him. And what's about to shock many people, I'm just gonna put Shanks right next to Buggy. Because I think he was good. I think the casting is fine. It doesn't bother me. Yeah. I don't know whether I have as much to say. It was a cool moment to see him intimidate, let's say, the Ward of the Coast. And that's basically what we've seen him do. Whatever, but yeah, Shanks right next to Buggy. It's fitting in so many different ways, and I'm just gonna leave it there. As much as I hate to admit it, because I don't like Mihawk. His performance, even the... what should I call it? I guess visions of him in Season 2 when it comes to Zoro. Everything was great, he absolutely deserves to be S tier. Probably at the bottom because I don't like him, but in every single aspect he was great. I'm just gonna leave it there because I can't explain why I don't like him. Great doctor. Basically saved his kingdom in so many different ways. And because we are not getting any more of him at least. Yeah, I really doubt we're gonna get any more of him. Especially in the live action. I mean, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, doesn't matter. I don't know how much live action is going to change, but considering I believe this is the last we're gonna see of him, I'm gonna place him at the top of S. Honestly, you know what? You're even gonna get the very top because I have to admit, I did get very teary-eyed. And it was a great backstory. And I guess since I'm talking about him, let's talk about his son. One of my personal favorite backstories Tony Chopper, and also probably one of the most difficult to adapt for the live action adaptation, Chopper. I would place you higher, but you're gonna be more in the season. You're gonna be here in the future as well. So for now you're here, and yeah, just great story. I do appreciate that they were actually showing the different forms of Chopper. We actually got to see every single one of his forms that he possesses. Yeah, we did. His backstory was great, the voice acting was very appreciated, and the visuals are just great. Look at him, so cute, really adorable. Just also him crying at the very last scene. I guess the last scene was cropped out, but the last scene with all the Straw Hats was great, with Zoro picking him up. It was just adorable through and through, and I think they've done a very good job of adapting Chopper to live action. I have absolutely no idea whatsoever what they're gonna do in the future with him. I don't believe that this One Piece live action adaptation has any hope of getting more than 2 more seasons. I'll be astounded. Unless AI somehow is greatly able to cut down costs, they have to either do I would say even if they do major changes to the story, I still very much do struggle to see how they can afford to continue this show. After all, we saw already Giants, Chopper. There is so many more crazy things that are about to happen in One Piece, and it's just difficult to imagine. But ignoring that, just talking about what I saw. Alright, so Dory and Brogy. I like how they were portrayed. I like the effects of what I saw of them. The only thing that does bother me is that I really would have appreciated, considering... Alright, let's say that considering how cool their attack looks in the anime, I really would have appreciated if they were able to make it a little more flashy, just a little bit. Something I'm wondering whether they can do in the future, especially with certain characters and their abilities, is if maybe they can stylize the live action where they add actual 2D animation, some way they try to incorporate it. Not directly from the anime, but I feel like there is some way they can really incorporate more of the fantastical effects, abilities. And yeah, talking about that, I really still see how they're gonna adapt certain aspects, but that's a problem for future them. I think they're already starting on season 3, right? Probably. But yeah, Dory and Brogy were great. I like them equally, even though they themselves might be annoyed by that fact. I guess from what I saw from them, I can't place them in S tier. I'm judging just the show. Dory. Dory is gonna be first. They didn't shy away from their ridiculous size or their very impressive attack, considering they absolutely obliterated that either. I hope that it does get a lot of attention, but my personal belief is even if this gets more attention than Game of Thrones, it becomes the most popular live action adaptation of all time, I still do not believe they have the money required to actually adapt it even generously, with compacting a lot of things and trying to lower the power level. I still struggle to see them adapting things to halfway of where the story currently is. Straw Hats? Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go for the Straw Hats in order of my least favorites. Vivi, which basically at this point is already an honorary Straw Hat. And is this my bias for actually appreciating, I was going to say, the character design of the actress? The looks of the actress, but her character design was also pretty good. She was good, and as I said, I do think she's attractive, so she's going there. And yes, that's how shallow my placement of Vivi is. When it comes to Straw Hats and even Vivi, it's one of those things where I think it's basically impossible for me to judge them just on the live piece. I think I'm committing to live piece at this point, but sure, to the One Piece adaptation, Netflix adaptation, so on and so forth. It's just difficult, unless there was some huge change from anime to live action, it's difficult for me not to treat them the same. And I would say that's a positive to the Netflix adaptation, that I feel like they've done a good job, mostly, at being relatively close to what I expect the characters to be. So, least favorite, the coward of the group, Usopp. I personally really love characters that are cowards and are able to embrace their fear and still fight through it and be very helpful, which Usopp most definitely was, and was very much so the hero. But Usopp, you're definitely gonna be the very lowest ranked Straw Hat, and you're gonna be under Buggy. Yeah, you had your moments, so you're definitely above Dalton, but I wouldn't say that I enjoy Usopp very much, whether it is in the anime or the Netflix adaptation, so he's there. By the way, as I said, who knows, I'm not really sure. If they compact things too much, it's very possible some of the Straw Hats might not get their chances to shine. Although so far, I'd say that's not the case. But we'll see in one more season how... Just the next season is so curious how they're gonna handle it. Even this season I was super skeptical. I'm impressed that they were able to do it as well as they did, but I just wonder. Nami. And I do like Nami a lot. Do I like her more? Currently no, actually. And that's not really a negative. I know that this tier B seems little overstuffed, which honestly it probably means the fact that they probably should have had one more tier underneath it. Or maybe I should have been placing the characters I really care absolutely nothing about here. But hey, it's too late and I'm not wasting 50 more minutes. So sure, I am going to place Roronoa Zoro. And here's a fun fact, if you have not watched the anime. In the anime, Zoro usually gets the best animation whenever he fights. It's truly incredible, sometimes better than Luffy, often better than Luffy I would even dare say. The anime studio really loves him, they just adore him. And in the live action adaptation he is able to get the best fight here, everyone loves him as well. Zoro is just a fan favorite, so that alone, just in every single media. I think that alone makes me not like him as much as maybe I would, because I really like swordsmanship, I like the fact that he uses the three-sword style, I think the actor does a great job, and I really do appreciate that all the actors have also really put the work to look even better for the future of the story. So, great job, he's definitely probably gonna be the top of S tier. Helmeppo, this is probably mostly due to my bias of the anime, but I really do like Helmeppo, so he's gonna get above. He didn't really get to do much though in this season, same as Kobe. Yeah, it's kind of unfair to place him this side, but hey, it's my tier list, so I like Helmeppo, so he's there. The character that's probably either my favorite or second favorite, it really depends on the day. Does he deserve to be above Zoro considering what we've seen in the show so far? No. But is he? Yes. And next, who else is gonna be above Zoro in S tier? We have the one, the only, the chef of the Straw Hat Pirates, which got personal, as I said, my personal favorite fight against Miss Friday and Mr. 13, Sanji. I don't like him more than Kobe, but he was great. My voice is already getting tired, I need to drink some water, so let's get to Monkey D. Luffy, the grandson of the greatest marine to have ever lived, and the future king of the pirates, as he likes to say himself. I really appreciate the actor of Luffy. I appreciate that they've given so much effort when it comes to actually showing his powers and not shying away from them. And he was really great. I'm just looking at my double S tier, but eventually, let's just say Luffy is gonna get there. But currently, at least in the live action show, I love his energy, I love his fights. I mean, frankly, putting him over Sanji kind of proves how much I really appreciate the actor and what he's giving to Luffy. I also really appreciate some of the deliveries. They're really able to represent what Luffy is. It is fun. And Luffy is just supposed to be fun and serious only sometimes. Whenever he's serious, he's very serious, but he needs to give joy to the people, let's say. So I think he's doing a great job, and as I've said so far, because they're going as crazy as possible with him, that's just bonus points that makes me appreciate him that much more. Now, talking about going crazy, the person that absolutely obliterated Luffy in this season, and it was a great spectacle. I loved the effects of that fight. Captain Smoker. Because I'm judging only to season 2 of One Piece Netflix adaptation, you're gonna be the next S tier. I even love the picture that we've chosen for the actor here. But yeah, he looks great, he performs great, and the effects of his ability were also very cool. and just completely obliterating Luffy. Well, there was something just satisfying about seeing him again and completely destroying Luffy in this new medium that is live action. So it's great, I can't wait to see more of Smoker. It's gonna be a lot of these three characters. So I wanted to talk about some spoilers. I will not, because it's already been very long, this tier list, even though I'm not sure how long it's gonna be for you. I've recorded for too long. But now, Gold D. Roger and Monkey D. Garp. Let's get them all the way up, and the mysterious stranger, I'm not gonna say anything about him. Just like the Netflix adaptation, I'm gonna pretend he's not there, he didn't exist. Just like the other thing they teased in the Netflix adaptation, with him, connected to him. But yeah, Gold D. Roger and Garp. From what I've seen, season 1 and 2, where would they really place them? Ignoring my biases of the anime, I'm actually not so impressed with Roger. I really did appreciate actually seeing in season 2 this flashback and his relationship with Garp. That kinda elevates it. As I said, it's difficult to kinda disassociate some of my appreciation for the anime and my opinions on it, but I think he is doing a good job. Obviously he was the inspiration for everything. He looks pretty good, I would say, for Roger. Obviously enough, Garp and Roger are supposed to be, they're rivals, and I do believe season 2 did a good job of showing that. Obviously they've had some fun times together, but the way they changed the scene, I would say the changes of Garp and Roger are the ones that are most interesting to me, because I don't know what they're gonna do with them. I'm just gonna place Roger at A for now. I think he's doing a good job. I probably would want to place him a little lower, but specifically because of that Garp scene, and I really do love Garp. As I said, favorite or at least second favorite character after Kobe. He does get elevated for being in the same scene. And this huge reveal that Garp apparently is gonna need to find his son and protect him. That really was an intriguing thing. Just like, it seems like every single important Garp reveal, this is what the Netflix adaptation has decided. Garp is going to be the huge reveal, is going to be the vehicle for which every season gets a huge reveal. Just, it's gonna happen every single season, and I'm looking forward to it, because there's a lot more reveals with Garp they can go into, and I wonder whether they would dare to go on ahead and actually reveal something specific from the manga instead of the anime. I'm not caught up with the manga, I don't know. I just know that something apparently with Garp that's very important has happened in the manga that hasn't been adapted yet into the anime. So I wonder, are we gonna get to the point where the Netflix adaptation is spoiling me, an anime fan, who's 15 arcs ahead? That it's gonna be something. Garp, the final character. I really despise something specific they done with him. And it's not a spoiler, it's more about his characterization. The voice have changed a lot of things, like for example his fight against Luffy didn't happen, even though I really appreciate that he absolutely destroyed Luffy just like Smoker. It was not even close, it shouldn't be close, so I'm glad it wasn't. But Monkey D. Luffy and Monkey D. Garp are very similar in the way they present themselves in front of others, at least in the anime. And I really do not like that the show is trying to present Garp as more of a serious figure. Hopefully enough, in season 3 and the future ones, they're gonna make him more joyful? Sure. But that's the only reason he's not gonna get into S tier, mostly because I really do love Garp. But unlike with the actor that plays Luffy, he has toned down Luffy a little bit, which I know, that says something. But Garp is too toned down. I don't appreciate the fact that, to me, it feels more boring. Way more boring. Not that Garp cannot be serious, just like Luffy, I'm expecting certain moments for him to be serious. It just feels like a completely different character. And funnily enough, he's probably the easiest for me to kind of rank, even though I have so much love for him in the anime, because I'm just completely considering him an entirely different character that's just, this is an alternative version of Luffy's grandfather. That's how much of a stark difference Garp has in the anime. I'm not even really saying it that much in a negative, it's more, I'm definitely interested. As I said, my favorite characters are Garp and Kobe, and they've gotten to be more in the show than they were in the anime, to the point of the story where things currently are. So funnily enough, the Netflix adaptation is kind of playing into something I really wanted to see much more of, which is the Marine perspective. So if they continue doing that, I'm probably gonna enjoy it much more. And there is also another certain spoiler thing that I'm very annoyed by, but because this video is so incredibly long, I guess I don't have time. Overall though, this is my life piece, yeah. My life piece. Live action One Piece anime adaptation character tier list.